Tonight's event is coming into divine order. This is such an important time right now for us to come into divine order, to not get caught in what is appearing in the outside world, but to be in our center and be in a place of divine order. And there are some things that can block us from being in divine order. So before the meditation tonight, I'm going to be sharing about divine order and what it requires for us to be in divine order, and how we can, achieve stabilizing ourselves in this vibrational frequency and resonance of divine order. Because truly that's what it is. It is a resonance. It's a frequency field that we are able to tap into. We're going to be doing a meditation after I share with you some information, and we're going to be clearing one of the blocks to divine order. And this frequency of this block, a lot of people have this block, whether it's on a very subtle level or maybe a very pronounced level. Whatever level it is, these blocks that are blocking being in this state of divine order. So we're going to be clearing some of the blocks to divine order in tonight's meditation and establish a vibrational field of divine order. Because right now, with the times that we're in, it is so vitally important for us to stay in a state of balance, to stay in a state where we are connected. The times that we're in right now require us to check in and reevaluate the moment, but not from the perspective of the mind, like a mental evaluation or analysis. This is about reframing and stepping into a place of neutrality, which is what we talked about in the last live cast. So we are required at this time to really check in from this place of neutrality, from this place of divine order, to check in to see what is the next thing, the next action that we need to take. This is, truly receiving, divine guidance in every moment. But it's very hard to receive that divine guidance when there's fear in the space, when there's panic, when there's any level really of stress in the field. It's difficult to tap into that place of divine order where you are available in your vibrational body throughout your whole essence and being to receive the nuances from the divine source energy of life, from the divine creator, to receive that message, because it truly is within inside of us. And so letting go is a key ingredient to be able to come into divine order. And that's what we're really going into tonight. Really being able to let go. Let go so that you can feel the internal resonance within yourself. And so that ultimately, you know what the next step is. You know what action you need to take. So this is required of us right now to constantly step out of the situation that's appearing and showing up out there and stepping back into divine order so that you know what's happening. You know your next step. And there's this inner state of peace and trust and tranquility. So let's talk about that for a moment. Trust and letting go. Trust is a key factor, trusting that there's a higher power here that is orchestrating life. This higher power orchestrates every nuance in our body. Our whole biosystem is alive and it's being orchestrated by this energy of life. And so allowing ourselves to let go enough and to trust that there is this higher power, there is this higher order. Life is in divine order. Life is divine order. So trusting that there's a higher power, the divine creator that is our very essence, our very being, is orchestrating everything, letting go and trusting that everything is in divine order. Everything is in divine order. Now what happens is in the outer field, there appears to be all this chaos going on, which it is on some level. And so retracting yourself from the chaos is a key. We don't need to jump out and get involved in the chaos. We want to step back and be centered within our own self with this essence of divine order, this energetic resonant field of divine order. Because when you allow yourself to be in divine order, you suddenly see that things in your life begin to work themselves out. Why is that? It's because you are the center point of your own world. Your world is 360 degrees around you, and your world is receiving the vibrational emanation of your essence, the essence that you are being from one moment to the next. So you are giving this emanation of energy to your world. When you are in divine order, and when you allow yourself to retract from everything on the outside, let it all go, come into this inner place of divine order within you. When you come into divine order, that divine order ripples out 360 degrees into your world. But what happens is, what blocks being in this divine order where you can ripple out this vibration of peace and harmony out into your world, therefore affecting everything in your world and being also very clear in your next movements and actions. The thing that blocks this is stress in the field. And of course, fear is a huge stress in the field. One of the pathways to creating the stress is the mind. So it is so important right now to really come into presence with your mind and the thoughts that you are thinking. Thoughts are a frequency. Emotions are a frequency. The frequency of your thoughts create emotions in your body based on the frequency of those thoughts. The emotions are now transmitting out the vibrational frequency that generated it, the thought that generated the emotion. So it is so important for us to choose our thoughts. But what happens is, because of old programming, old thought patterns, habitual thought patterns, ways of thinking, old belief systems that have been around for a long time. All of this is stored inside of our cellular memory. And it's also stashed in the subconscious mind. And so what happens is these old limiting thoughts and old beliefs about yourself and about the situation that would then trigger fear responses, those old beliefs are stored there and they keep replaying. So think of yourself as a computer. Think of your mind as a computer program. And so it's got a program that's already installed. That program was already installed from past things that you decided were the truth, beliefs that are not absolute truth, but things that you decided were, judgments about yourself, judgment about others, judgments about the world or what's happening in the world in the moment. So all of these different blockages that get created from these old beliefs, because they just get stored there and then they just replay themselves over and over again. And what happens is it's tough to catch them without slowing down the mind, because the mind can fire off so many thoughts in a split second. And with those thoughts are these little holographic images from this memory, this cellular memory of the occurrence, whatever that was, old traumas. It could be old traumas that happened, old emotional imprints. So all of this old stuff that gets stored on a cellular vibrational level is refiring back up, feeding it to your conscious mind. So your subconscious mind pulls it up and it feeds it into your conscious mind. And then your conscious mind has the thought, and then it generates a feeling based on that thought. And if the thought is limiting, then the feeling is going to be limiting. It's going to be constricted. And then putting out that constricted wave creates constriction in your world. So we have to go in and release these old embedded vibrational imprints that are stored in the cellular body and in the subconscious mind. So we need to dissolve those old energies and reinstall a new program. We want to reinstall a whole new program of thoughts. And so that's what we're doing with the divine order. And I know some of you have already received the track from last week. And those of you who don't have the track, I'm going to be sending that out to you. And so when we reprogram the subconscious mind to this new thought, after time, after repetition, suddenly you begin to use this new program. So it is about repetition, just like old habits were created by repetition. The new habits are going to be created by disinstalling and ejecting the old program and then reinstalling the new thought. And then the thought, with repetition, becomes a belief. And then that belief is creating an emotional, energetic response that you have as an experience in your life. This is the experience of our life. Our thoughts create these emotions, and the emotions that we feel or experiencing, even if we try to block them and not feel them, the emotions there, that's our whole energy field, is emotional. Energy in motion. Our whole field is emotional. So these emotions are emanating out, whether we acknowledge them or not, and are emitting this vibrational field out into our world. So we have to go back in from the level of the mind and letting go, letting go. So that's one level that we are going to be working with as we work with the divine order. We're working with reprogramming the mind to this new frequency of essence, this new belief. And with that belief is a frequency. And it is that frequency that makes that shift in your body, in your mind, in your heart, in your being, and in your life. So we're going to be doing this reprogramming with the subconscious mind, and the track that I sent is a very important tool for this. So if you don't have it, we'll make sure that you receive that. So the next thing that we want to touch in on is letting go, because the mind is really powerful too, and we do have free will. And that is the thing here on earth. We have free will. And so we also have to be willing to let go, willing to let go. And it's, really willing to let go that something is wrong with whatever is showing up in our world in the moment. And this is a really, really big one. So, sometimes it can be hard because you think it's supposed to be going this way, and you have your routine, and this is the way it's always gone before, and this is the way that it needs to go. And whatever is showing up in the moment is what is happening. Letting go that something is wrong with what is showing up, and letting go of your agenda. Now, that doesn't mean that your agenda is not going to happen. Your agenda, if it's in divine order, it is going to happen. But you have to let go in order to allow that divine order to come through. Letting go. And this is so important, because without letting go and letting this flow and judging the moment and wanting it to be different, the flow doesn't happen. Divine order happens when you let go. Trust the moment. The idea, the solution, the pathway is going to open by letting go. Force cannot open the path. Only letting go and coming back into our very essence and our very nature, which is divine. The divine is always inside of us. It's expressing through us. Re-tapping into this place of your own divinity, this spark of life inside of you that is this divine essence, this divine truth, this divine wisdom. It is inside of you. It is inside of all of us, this divine wisdom. So, number one, we have to let go. Let go. Guess what? Oh, letting go of control. Oh, control, letting go of control. Because on some level, if you're not letting go and trusting in the moment, there's these particles of control. And it's so easy, because we want things to be going our way, the way that we are limited, mind, when we're not tapped into divine order, and if the mind is running the show, the mind can't figure it out. Only being in the truth, in this place of surrender and letting go and being in divine order, this is where the wisdom of the moment comes through. This is where divine order can flow. This is where you can allow divine order into your life. This is about allowing divine order. We have free will. Are you going to allow divine order in your life? It's really up to each and every one of us. Are we going to let go and allow divine order? Which means we cannot have judgment. We cannot have judgment of the situation, and we cannot have judgment as you're letting go to start wanting to control the letting go process or what starts to percolate. So it is a continual letting go and opening to the moment. So I hope you guys are all with me. I feel that you are. And this is really what is so important now in these times of change. To really let go of control, let go of holding on to anything. Evolution is about change. And the earth is in this evolutionary time right now. This is a profound evolutionary cycle that we are in. And this is a pivotal moment. It truly is. I mean, we have been building for this for so long, but I truly believe that this is a pivotal moment. And as we settle into this moment and really understand that and come into this place of divine order, as we release these embedded fears and old traumas and emotions and blocks that have been building up and reprogram the subconscious mind to what we choose to believe, not from the old patterns. This is where the earth and humanity is going to be quickening and accelerating to this next level. And that is really important because as we accelerate, we're moving out of duality, because the world has been in a state of duality. And so as you maybe see things happening that could seem scary because of the appearance, or things seeming like they're increasingly getting worse, that's when you know that is part of duality. But you're coming into divine order and you're stepping out of that. And that is what is so crucial right now during these times. And so I think without further ado, it's time for us to go into the meditation and to really allow yourself this moment now to really take a moment to decide in yourself, right now, are you willing to let go? Are you willing to let go of control in your life? Controlling anything in the outside. Are you willing to surrender that control and come into this point of divine order? Are you willing to allow divine order into your life? That's really the question. As we go into this meditation, to decide that, because we all have free will. And we have to be willing to let go and open to this divine order.